What number are you? Apparently I'm a 9. 3s are best in terms of riches and fame, but 7s are happiest. Taylor Swift is a 3, Aniston is a 6, Amy Poehler is an 8, Zuckerberg is a 5, Glennon Doyle is a 4. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, welcome. We're talking about Enneagrams. Because right now it seems like everybody is talking about Enneagrams. Do either of you two know what your Enneagram number is?
Yeah, I, for some reason, did a course years ago.
A whole course, so not just an online quiz.
No, it was, I'm trying to remember the reason, but I think someone was doing a course in it and needed people to work on. So I was like a rat.
You're a subject.
Like a lab rat. I was a subject.
Ah.
And I came back as, and I loved your introduction, Holly Wainwright, because I am a type 3.
You are a 3.
I am a Taylor Swift. She's called the Achiever. My basic fear is worthlessness, and my basic desire is to feel valuable and worthwhile.
So ambitious, right?
Yeah.
Driven, image-oriented, success-oriented. Now, Murphy, we might get to you in a minute because I have a feeling you reject all of this
have
nonsense.
words, yes.
Yes. So to explain a little bit about what the Enneagram is, here's an expert in the space, Jackie Pollock from Human Leadership, giving us a quick summary.
The Enneagram is a model. In fact, some people refer to it as a map, and it represents 9 different ways of viewing the world. So think of it like 9 different type patterns. And the patterns are around how we feel, how we think, and how we behave. The Enneagram goes much deeper. It doesn't just look at what you do, it explores why you do it. It's the core motivation that sits underneath why we do what we do.
And the way that you find out your Enneagram number is you do a test, either a free online one, which I'm sure is very accurate, or a full course like our friend Jessie Stevens. You can get us into this or not. It will present you with a list of basic statements and then rate your response to them. Those statements might be just things like, I enjoy being by myself more than being with others. And you kind of go, agree, disagree, strongly agree. You get that stuff. And then it sorts you, like the sorting hat, into a number. As you have touched on, Jessie, 3 is the Achiever. Some others include, I won't do them all, but some others include the Reformer, which is type 1, principled, purposeful, self-controlled. The Individualist, type 4, sensitive, expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed. The Loyalist, that's our friend Jennifer Aniston coming in at number 6, committed, security-oriented, responsible, and anxious. I'm a 9, apparently, which is a peacemaker. I don't know if I am really, but apparently I think I am. Easygoing, receptive, agreeable, complacent. That's me. And the reason that we're talking about this, because this model has actually been around for ages, been around for more than 70 years, and it has all kinds of different backgrounds, which are quite complicated. But right now, everybody's quite into self-optimization, which is often seen as a bit of a reaction to uncontrollable circumstances. I don't know if that rings any bells with anyone, that we turn to this kind of making order, but also because of celebrities, as always, right? So famously, the White Lotus creator Mike White loves an Enneagram, makes his cast do them, also does them for all his characters. Ideally, he likes it if they match up then.
That makes total sense. He's a storyteller. He needs, like, there's a sense of you work within an archetype and then you might disrupt it. But I understand why it's consistent with Mike White.
Very much. And people like Amy Poehler get all their mates to take them. Apparently, that sounds like a fun night. I have a theory about personality types, which is no matter how scientific or how spiritual, whether or not you like them depends on your personality type.
Yeah.
So Murphy, for example,
Yes.
You reject all of them. Am I correct?
Look, reject is a harsh word, but yes. I feel like you can lump Enneagrams in with the same type of thing, like which Friends character are you quizzes, or like, all these horoscopes that, whichever rising moon or whatever you have yourself in. Like, I get it. I know why people do it. I understand it. We all want to understand ourselves better, and we like giving ourselves little labels. We like to tell people what those labels are. I just feel like I would really like to know when you do these quizzes whether you are 100% truthful or whether you can ever be because you have ideas about who you are, but whether you really can actually express them the way that others see you is a whole different thing. But it's just humans are so weird that we feel like we've got to understand every tiny molecule as it's, lined up and comes out as our personality. It feels like a supplement for religion. Like if you feel like you don't have a faith or you don't have something to believe in, that these kinds of things can kind of fill that void a little bit. So like I believe in Enneagrams as much as I believe in Catholicism, which is like 0.
Oh, okay. Spoken like a true 8. She's a challenger, powerful, decisive, willful, confrontational. Jessie, that's a throwdown about Catholicism right there. It's Friday. I don't know if we want to go.
I'm also just sorry to interrupt, but they're like nothing against people who believe in Catholicism or want to believe that Enneagrams describe their
or friends
spirituality or want to find out which friend's character they are. Like if that makes you feel good, I'm not going to stop you, but I don't subscribe.
It's interesting your spiritual point, because what I found interesting that I learned at this course I did
yes.
Was that there's this overlap of people sort of within Christianity, like faith-based institutions who are very interested in this. I agree with you that humans are desperate for a coherent narrative, and that is what religion and faith gave us a few generations ago, and obviously we know that religious adherence is going down. So there is this kind of gap that people are trying to fill. On the one hand, I go, is it doing any harm? If people find that this helps them, if it helps them understand themselves and their own motivations, then maybe that's a good thing. But on the other hand, do we end up using personality tests as an excuse? So if Holly finds that she's the peacemaker, next time you come into contact with conflict, do you go, well, I'm not good at conflict? Like, is there something that stunts our growth mindset or our understanding as people that are ever changing?
But also then do you ignore parts of yourself for the sake of being that number 3 that you want to be? So if you want to be a peacemaker and you want to work at that, and that is actually naturally part of your personality, but you kind of suppress it because you're like, well, that doesn't fit the narrative. Like, it's like, do you want to subscribe to all of this and make it your identity? So like, I don't walk around saying, oh, guys, my name's Claire and I'm such a Scorpio 8. Like it just doesn't, it's
a
not
lot of
who
people
I am.
do, right? I think your point, Jessie, about how useful it is. Obviously, there are experts in this field who could go deep about how useful it is. But over my course of my career, I've been sent to quite a few like management courses and things like that by various employers, and they love a personality test, right? Those kind of things. And one of the points of that is you're supposed to find out who you are, but then you're also supposed to be able to identify who your team is and work out how better to manage them or manipulate them, basically. That's a negative word for get the best out of them, right? And so that's what it's used for. And it can be very useful. When I was younger, like you, Claire, I think I have 8 rising in that I was like, don't put me in a box, man. Like I'm not, you can't describe all my complexities by this simple number. I won't have it. But it was very useful for me to learn as a young person that everybody's motivations are different. And when you understand what matters to different people in different ways, it is better. You can make work, for example, more satisfying for them. That's a truth that is interesting. But I do think that people do use it as a personal brand. Like if everybody in Hollywood is loving doing the Enneagrams and ambitious successful people tend to be 3s, then 3 is the most high status. You know what I mean? So everybody wants to be that. So it kind of shifts the testing.
I saw a term that I thought was an interesting way of putting it, which is we are experiencing the rise of curated selfhood. And the interrogation of selfhood in a new way, which I understand that people might turn their nose up to. And there is a studied phenomenon called the Barnum effect, which is if you make anything broad or flattering enough, then people will see themselves in it. So, Holly, I guarantee that if we swapped, then I could probably see a lot of parts in myself in your Enneagram and you the same to me. But I also don't want to undermine people who have found this really useful and have done, legitimate research in this space. And ultimately it's about understanding that how fundamentally different a lot of us are. We are motivated by entirely different things often. We want different things. We have different values. And to try and understand that often makes us a better partner or a better friend or a better leader.
Because otherwise we can walk around thinking, well, everybody's like me.
Well, they ought to be.
Yeah, exactly. They all think what I think.
Yeah, and I guess I'm going to be hypocritical here because if you look at the kind of person that I am, I'm very much an in-the-moment person. I'm not a future planner. I'm not someone who sits down with their manager every year and says, here's my 5-year success plan. Like, I'm just not that person. So for me to try and think of these things as ways to better understand myself in a bigger picture, I'm not seeking enlightenment. You know, like my motivation is to be as happy and as successful as I can be in this moment today, talking to you two, recording this episode of Out Loud. Like, that is how my mind works. So I guess for me, these things feel like fantasy because it's like I'm not striving to achieve a better me. I'm striving to achieve a better community around me, if you know what I mean. Like I want to be a good person, and so I hope that I am a good person and I hope that my actions show that I'm a good person. But I'm not into, like, I don't know, achieving some next level of enlightenment.
Well, you definitely won't like such an age. You definitely won't like this next bit then, because Jessie's right about how curated selfhood is having a big moment. Yeah. And everyone in my life has been passing around this link this week to this soul reading ChatGPT plugin.
Oh
right?
my God, I've seen this too.
Yeah. So what you do is and I'm not recommending this to anybody, but may this be a cautionary tale. You go to it. It asks you for your name, your date of birth, your place of birth, and where you live now. So data harvesting, we call that data harvesting.
Your bank details,
I can't
your
wait for the
CVV.
scammers to find that lot, yeah.
And then it gives you a spookily correct soul reading, and I tried it today. And it told me that I was a story keeper and a natural narrator, and I was like, wow, Jessie, this thing is really accurate.
She interrupted me from my work, Claire, and she turned to me and said, Jessie, you won't believe it. It's so accurate. And I could see her head getting bigger and bigger. And I turned to Holly and I went, mate, they've Googled you. They've Googled you.
But also, too, I want to know someone who's done a soul reading and ChatGPT's come back and said, you are a dark black sludge on society who should literally just live as a hermit and not impact another human being for as long as you shall live. Like, no one's getting that soul reading, are they? Everyone's getting happy rainbows and unicorns.
And as Jessie rightly points out, ChatGPT is just scouring the internet. And I was like, wow, it's right. And she's like, you are a dickhead. I know other people who live by numbers, like the numerology. Yeah. And then, of course, there are star signs. We talked for a while about how they've been having a big moment, and I've still got that app on my phone that tells me every day. Today it told me that today was a good day to accept that I have responsibilities, which seems quite rude. And then it told me I should be aspiring to inbox zero, which is nonsense, and to declutter my desk. And I'm sensing a theme here, and I think that
it's pointed.
The stars are
as someone who achieves inbox zero every single day.
Stop it.
Sucked in.
Okay, now she's definitely exhibiting more of a 4.
I reckon it comes down to I am haunted by the question, like, who is in there, right? Like, and I think that's actually a deeply existential, deeply spiritual question that I am lacking the framework to answer. And something about these tests is like scratches the surface a little bit.
See, I'm of the opinion, like, who is in there is none of my business. It's literally just exist and be good and be nice to people and don't be a dick. That's it.
This is the key to happiness right here from Claire Murphy.